Hi, my name is Lauren Berkmeyer, and this is my second set of book critiques. So, the book that I chose as my featured text is Beautiful Oops by Barney Salzberg, who is the author and illustrator of this book. So, this book is all about how mistakes can be changed into beautiful works of art. It's all about changing a person's mindset from that fixed mindset to growth mindset, which can really change how a person performs both in school and out in the real world. So this really instills that positivity and possibility for creating something out of nothing, which gives a person a better adaptability to problems and issues that might occur within their lifetime. So that's kind of why I really thought this book was a great choice for my featured text. And I loved how it portrayed that positivity. And it talks about how mistakes can happen, but with those mistakes, beautiful creations can arise. And I love that sense of hope that this book brings to the reader. And here's kind of a few images that I thought were really beautiful within the book. So the first interdisciplinary connection I chose for this book is to include it with a math lesson, such as with geometry, describe, compare, create, and composing shapes. So this book could be used during a math lesson teaching addition and subtraction. While reading this book, the teacher would ask questions about different shapes that can be seen throughout the book. Then after reading, students can use model shapes to create animals that were created within this book. Students could also share some of the animals that they created by tracing the shapes on a sheet of paper and then presenting their findings to the first grade class. The second interdisciplinary connection I thought would be great for this book is with a science lesson, teaching about animals, because even though the book is about mistakes, many of those mistakes are shown or enhanced through the creation of animals. So I thought that while reading the book, you could talk about the different animals that are drawn throughout the book and what kind of characteristics they have. For example, in the picture below, a crumpled piece of paper was turned into a sheep because the crumples in the paper looked like curly wool. So the artifact that I created, I used Paint 3D, and students could have an iPad or computer, and I would give them a shape, like the oval in the picture, and then the students would have to use that shape and turn it into an animal or their own creation. This would give students the chance to be creative with what they created, just as the book was. And this activity could be shared widespread by choosing a few students' drawings and putting them in a newspaper, sharing their imagination with their local city. Some of the next books that I chose for this text set was Anansi the Spider, A Tale from the Ashanti by Gerald McDermott. This book was very interesting to me because it talks about some of Ashanti's folklore about the god Nyame, who I did not know much about. It also was a great story about Anansi's children who worked together to save him, and Anansi could not choose which one to give the beautiful globe because they had all helped him by using their different talents. The next book that I chose in my critique is The Day the Crayons Quit. This was written by Drew Daywalt and it's illustrated by Oliver Jeffers. In this book, Duncan's crayons write letters to Duncan about how they would like to be used when Duncan is coloring. And I really liked this book because it is a great example of how to express your emotions by writing a letter to someone. Writing a letter is a great way for students to really put their feelings on paper and be kind of nicer about it. I also really liked how the letters were written and some of the pictures that were drawn throughout this book. The next book I chose was 20 Yawns by Jane Smiley, and it's illustrated by Lauren Castillo. This book is written with the purpose of helping children fall asleep, and it talks about Lucy who plays at the beach all day with her family, and at the end of the day she is not tired. Throughout the book she yawns, her mother yawns, father yawns, and even her stuffed animals yawn. I would say this book was very effective in making someone sleepy because as I was reading the book, I noticed I yawned multiple times, and at the end of the book, I was even tired. So I thought that was very funny and very purposeful. The next book I chose is I Carry Your Heart With Me by E.E. Cummings, and it's illustrated by Maddie McDonough. This book takes E.E. Cummings' poem, I Carry Your Heart With Me, and includes illustrations to portray what is happening throughout the poem. I love how it expresses a mother's endless love for her daughter by carrying her daughter in her heart. The next book I chose is A Place Where Sunflowers Grow by Amy Lee Tai, illustrated by Felicia Hashino. This book talks about some of the experiences of a Japanese American child transitioning from regular life to living in an internment camp during World War II. I really liked how this book portrayed the story through a young girl's point of view, with the focus on art and her sunflowers. This book showed the young girl that takes time, showing the young girl that things take time before improvement, and it can be shown how, in the end, the sunflowers show hope that they will be freed. The next book I chose is The Adventures of Beekle, the Unimaginary Friend by Dan Santat. This book took a neat turn on children having imaginary friends to an imaginary friend named Beekle coming to the real world looking for his friend. I liked the theme of the story, which was how friendships can be awkward at first, but once you really get to know someone, then you can become best friends and go on crazy adventures with them. The next book I chose is Return by Aaron Becker. He is the author and illustrator. I really liked this book because it includes many beautiful pictures that help the reader imagine what is happening and what the characters might be thinking and saying to each other. I've not read many books that do not have any words, and I love that without words, the reader is still able to vividly know what is happening throughout the book and still imagine what they think the characters are saying. Thank you very much for watching my book critique.